The DC movie universe is starting fresh, and the first movie that they're putting out is Blue Beetle. I've been really interested in seeing the movie since the trailers first came out. I know a little bit about the version of Blue Beetle that's going to be the main version that we see in the movie, but I don't know a ton. However, I've always liked the costume design and the concept with the powers being that it's like this techno alien thing that can kind of create whatever weapon that he wants, and I think that looks really fun. And when I saw the trailers, I thought that they did a really good job of taking what we see on the page and bringing it into the live screens. And in the trailer, one of the things that I really liked was seeing him with like the giant cannon and the giant sword. I'm a big sucker for giant swords, and so I couldn't help but get both of the figures, and we'll get more into why there's two in just a second. So stick around and we're gonna get right into it. Here we have the box with the two Blue Beetle figures, and they are pretty standard McFarlane affair. Here's the back art for both. I'm glad that at least that there's different art, but they're not even really showcasing the different accessories that we're seeing in both. So let's get this opened right now. Here are our two Blue Beetles. They both obviously come with the standard standing plate. They both come with their own card, same art that we saw on the back of the box, and the back of the card both say the exact same thing. Now, of the figures, this one is just the standard Blue Beetle, and then this one is supposed to be the battle mode for Blue Beetle. And I can't really see any differences between the two figures up until we get to the back. So let's just start by looking at the figures themselves. And even the color scheme appears to be exactly the same. Unlike the Marvel Legends line where they pretty much never release the same figure twice because they'll tweak the colors, this one is exactly the same on the front. And on the back is where we actually get to the difference. With our regular Blue Beetle, the Blue Beetle on his back is just that, it's just there. But then on our battle mode, it actually pops off for the purpose of attaching wings. So speaking of wings, let's look at our accessories. So with our regular Blue Beetle, we have these two rings that he can hold. Both of the hands that he has are both gripping hands, and so he'd be able to grip the both of these, I think, on this end because they are bladed. So kind of like Xena Warrior Princess rings. We also have this nice big cannon, and this actually connects to the arm. And then we have the super sweet sword, and this is what I saw in the trailer, which I was really interested in seeing more of. And what's kind of neat is that the blade on this, for being such a thin piece, is actually pretty sharp. I'm surprised by that. I would have expected it to be a little bit thicker, just because, you know, it is a toy. The handle is really unique and interesting looking, and otherwise it looks cool. I can't say that it's perfectly accurate to what we see in the movie. It does look pretty close, but it moves so quick that I can't really be sure how accurate it is or not. Now, as far as the cannon goes, it actually attaches to the arm. So you can see the lines right here because this whole piece of it actually gets removed so that you can attach this. And so with it out, you can actually see that it is grooved in a particular way to go on. So it all lines up. There it goes, and it clicks in, and it's really solid. It was actually kind of hard to actually get in there, but it is in there. And there he is with a giant arm cannon, which is super fun. And then you could have him holding one of the rings or the sword at the same time. And now this actually can attach to that one because this one has the same exact lines, and I did pop this off earlier to confirm. So I'm not really sure what makes this one the battle mode, considering this one has the giant cannon and the sword, but the thing that the battle mode has are these really nice looking wings. I'm gonna go ahead and attach these right now. And there is Blue Beetle with the battle mode wings on. They can move some, but not a whole lot, so you can't really go further than that. Even if this was in the way, that's just where it stops. It doesn't really go any more than that. And I don't think it's really designed to be moved that much anyway. I think it's really just supposed to be out like that. And otherwise, he doesn't really come with any weapons, which again, confuses me as to why it's called battle mode, but it does come with a bunch of hands. So let's look at those. So obviously he's got fists by default, and then he's got this right pointing finger. He's got this right reaching hand. On his left side, he has a peace sign, and then he's got a thumbs up, which is really cool. I'm not sure if we've had other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that have had a thumbs up, but it shows a lot of character to have some of these different kinds of hands that I don't think we've seen before. Like the peace sign is also new, so that's really fun. Pointing finger might actually be a first as well, even though we've seen pointing fingers in the Legends line with Captain America. And so these two figures are really interesting because they really are meant to be one figure as far as I can tell, because between both figures, you have all different hands. There are no duplicate hands. There are no duplicate accessories. And really the only real difference is that The back on that one doesn't come off for the attachment of the wings, and that one does. Otherwise, you could really give him all of the accessories and sell that one off or customize that for something, and you'd have kind of your ultimate Blue Beetle figure. I really wish McFarlane would have just released that as a deluxe figure with all the accessories, but I also understand why he did it this way. It's just a better business idea. I want to do a quick close-up of our Blue Beetle head and compare it to hopefully both the movie trailer and the comic book version so we can see how well it compares. And overall, I think it looks really cool. I like that the legs of the Beetle right here are a little bit loose and they're kind of soft. Just because I can imagine those easily kind of getting snapped off. So that's nice that was kind of thought out. The Beetle on the back is really kind of creepy looking in a good way. I think that's what they're going for, and I think that succeeds here. Otherwise, we see lots of texture all over the costume. I think this looks like what we're seeing on screen fairly well. We'll see for sure once the movie fully comes out and I get a chance to go see it. As far as articulation goes, this is fairly standard McFarlane articulation. So the only things I want to show are that there aren't any real obstructions. Even the shoulder pads up here lift a bit so that you can still come out like that. It doesn't look great, but at least it's not blocked from being able to articulate. The head obviously can move just fine. It doesn't have any like giant horns or hair to get in the way of its movement either. Otherwise, pretty standard stuff in a good way. Okay, so I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and on the way in, I had to buy the popcorn bucket that Cinemark had out. This guy is 25 bucks, and I think it's totally worth it. Now, while it isn't quite in scale with the regular 7-inch figures, it's not bad either. It's reasonably close. Now, obviously, you can't actually get him inside to like pilot it, but that's okay because it's still really cool. And I like it a lot. So this is actually intended to be a popcorn bucket. And I just want to show you that it says Blue Beetle. It's got the Blue Beetle movie logo right there. And you could probably remove that with the same chemical that I used to decel shade action figures. But I'm going to leave that on because I'm not that bothered by it. But what's fun is that it opens up because, like I said, it's supposed to be a popcorn bucket. And I think that's where you're supposed to put your popcorn. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of space inside, so you can't really get them to sit in there. But that's okay. It still makes for a great looking piece for your display if you really like the Blue Beetle a whole lot. Now, it is kind of interesting because it does have these hooks on the side because it also actually comes with a kind of lanyard thing. And in the promo pictures, it shows the lanyard like attached with the lanyard itself with the lines going up, but it doesn't actually like keep it balanced there. So I'm not really sure how you're supposed to wear it if that's the intention. Because if you hang it from the lanyard, then it's just gonna not even be straight either. So I don't get it. So I know that this Blue Beetle and this Blue Beetle don't actually go together because this belongs to Ted Kord. And unfortunately, I don't have the Ted Kord Blue Beetle to show you how they look together, but we do know that we're gonna see the ship in the movie, and we do actually see Ted Kord's costume as well as the original Blue Beetle's costume at the same time. So I still think it's actually a really cool display prop to have. And if you like seeing the live action DC movie figures, then you should check out my review of the Dark Knight trilogy right over here.